contest, the latest being a 42-0 disaster at New Orleans, the first time Denver has been shut out in the Elway era. They are dead last in stopping the run. But their last line of defense is as good as it gets. Mile High Stadium, late in the year, when it gets a tad brisk. Denver is 46-13 at home since 1981, the best in the NFL. And they know they aren't the only team in trouble here because the Rams come in losing 3 in a row. And Tommy, I know you've been sick and tired about talking about the Broncos' problems. That's why we sent you out to L.A. for a change.
John Robinson and his Rams have led or been near the top of the NFC West for most of the year. They know that they can solve their problems if they can just figure out what they are. Only 6 weeks ago, the Rams were the talk of the league. Surprisingly atop the NFC West at 5-1, the Rams posted some impressive numbers to substantiate their success. But oh, how things have changed. The Rams have dropped 4 of their last 6 games. On offense, the once dominant running game has lost its punch. Defensively, the Rams were on a record-setting pace for sacks, but in the last 6 weeks, they can only get to the quarterback 7 times. What's most troubling in Los Angeles is that there are no easy answers to the question, what's wrong with the Rams?
Tom, I wish I had a direct answer. I just think it's a combination of things. I don't know the exact answer, and I don't know if anybody could tell the answer.
You know, I can't put my finger on any one thing that has caused us to choke the last 3 games.
There's no easy analysis when things are going well and suddenly they're not going well. We were playing at a very high level. We're playing every game with 8 or 9 rookies actually playing in the game and having a functional part of the game. We're beginning to make errors. We're beginning to be inconsistent in our play.
Jim Everett in particular has been affected by the losing more than any other player. For the Rams to rebound from their recent slide, they have to take the pressure off of Everett, who has tried to take matters into his own hands.
There was some games that, I watched John Elway in a couple games when they were struggling. You could almost see it trying to do too much. I think that I'd have to put myself in the last category, trying to make something big happen when there's nothing there. And when you start putting yourself in that position, I think you're just opening yourself for failure.
I think maybe he's shaken a little, but I also think maybe he allowed himself, or we allowed him, to begin to say, I've got to win the game.
The people who make the NFL football must have a keen sense of humor. You see, they know that this ball tends to take unpredictable bounces. Here in Rams country the last 3 weeks, it's been taking some very funny bounces. However, nobody's laughing.
I think panic's is going to be part of anybody. I think anybody that's fighting for that playoff spot right now is panicking because they want to be there more than anything in the world right now.
I don't think it's called panic, but I think it's called deep, deep concern.
We all falter. There's nobody that goes 16-0, and there's no one that plays well all the time. But when you falter, you better find the answer to come back and play hard again.
One problem that's quite tangible for the Rams is their inability the last month to run the football, something they will certainly be trying to establish against the 28th team against the Rams.
Coming into this game, but
NFL coverage. Also tonight, Robinson is trying to put together. The Rams looked like one of the NFL's class teams just a month ago, then the bottom fell out. Going into Denver against a team that lost to NFC West leader New Orleans 42-0 a week ago, the Rams were very optimistic. After all, the Rams had never lost in Denver. Note the key word there, had. Of course, they had only met twice at Mile High Stadium before this afternoon. It looked like this one would also go the Rams' way when Jim Everett hit Henry Ellard for a 23-yard first-period TD. But the Broncos tied it. Then Mike Lansford gave L.A. a 10-7 lead before missing 2 second-quarter field goal attempts. Too cold on his bare feet, perhaps. Rams coach John Robinson not too pleased. Then the Denver quarterback decided he'd better take matters into his own hands, or feet if you prefer. With his receivers covered, Elway scrambled to the 1. Fortunately, the whistle blew before the fumble. Elway went the final yard for a 14-10 halftime lead. That fired up the Broncos, and they came out from intermission still cranked up. Their first play was a 58-yard bomb from Elway to a wide-open Mark Jackson, who had 6 catches for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then, on the ensuing kickoff, it got worse for the Rams. Ron Brown couldn't handle the kick. Steve Bryant recovered for Denver at the Rams 14. On the very next play, Elway to Vance Johnson, and in 15 seconds, the Broncos had scored twice to lead 28-10. They still weren't finished. Tony Dorsett with a 7-yard option touchdown toss to Sammy Winder, a 35-10 blowout. The Rams tried to come back, ever to Ellard, who caught 11 passes for 167 yards. This late third-quarter touchdown was for 54 of those. A fourth-quarter touchdown by Greg Bell, whose draw to the one set up his one-yard touchdown to make the score a little more respectable, 35-24. But the Rams' fourth straight loss makes the playoff picture a little dim. In the loss, Everett completed 25 of 47 passes for 365 yards to go over the 3,000-yard mark. This season, joining Vince Ferragamo is the only Rams quarterbacks to do so. You know, when it...
After last night's 23-3 dismantling of the Chicago Bears, the Rams are still very much alive in the race for a playoff spot. With Jim McMahon and Mike Tomczyk injured, everyone knew this was a good time to play the Bears. What they didn't know is how easy it would be.
When the going gets tough, you find out about your team and your people, and this football team has stuck together and played very, very well tonight.
With the Bears' number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks watching from the sidelines, the Rams' defense smelled blood, showing no mercy on Jim Harbaugh, who at times seemed confused in his first NFL start.
As soon as he felt any pressure whatsoever, he would start running around. So that benefited us a great deal.
Under relentless attack, Harbaugh was able to complete only 11 passes. The Bears' offense could muster nothing more than a field goal for their night's effort.
I mean, what's professional football? What is it? It's physical brutality. I mean, it's a game, it's like gladiators. And I think today, you know, was a great productive day for us as far as reestablishing the physical aspect of our defensive game plan.
On the offensive side, the Rams didn't exactly make mincemeat of the big bad Bears defense, but they got the job done. Greg Bell passing the 1,000-yard mark in rushing for the season, most of it earned the hard way.
We consistently move the ball on the ground against them. Not for a lot, but because you don't get to move it for a lot against a team like that.
We felt that the 1,000 yards was going to come. We were 40 shy. We knew our running game was going to produce. What we wanted to do was get back on track and win.
Jim Everett and Henry Ellard also had a night to remember. Ellard taking over the league lead in receiving yardage, and Everett breaking the team's single-season passing record. His total now exceeds 3,400 yards. However, with 2 games remaining and the playoff picture far from clear, personal goals aren't exactly the top priority.
This is our season game. I mean, this is a pivotal game for us, and we realize what it meant. And these guys are happy. It's fun to be a Ram now.